we're living in a society where children are some of the most disrespectful human beings on earth. I don't understand what's going on. I take that back. I do understand what's going on. Parents are relinquishing power, and they're giving their children all of the power, all of the autonomy to do whatever they want. And children need to get back to parenting.
There's no repercussions.
Not at all.
No reprimanding. There is, we talk about, but one time we've talked about spare the rod, spoil the child.
Absolutely.
A little bit of pushback on that because we think that talking to children, but we are told to, what's the word that I'm looking for? Whoop your children. No.
Reprimand.
Now, I'm not saying every child needs to be whooped, but it does say spare the rod, spoil the child. And I think besides whooping, I think there needs to be a thing that is built where the parent is showing the child respect.
Absolutely.
Because there are some people who walk around and cuss and all this, and then the child is emulating that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first thing that should be taught, in my opinion, is that, which is the 10 Commandments, if you believe in the Bible, is honor your mother and your father, which is Exodus 20:12, and it tells you what to do. And then if you move on, because we're saying children should honor their parents, well, in Ephesians 4, it says that, hey, parents or dad, don't provoke your child.
Yeah, don't do things and then expect him not to do or them not to do them in return.
Right.
It's like that one saying, do as I say and not as I do. No, fool. They gonna do what you do.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't listening to what you saying. They watching what you're doing, and that's how children learn. If it's okay for you, then the child gonna figure it's okay for them.
Yep. It's I did a quick Google search just to see what popped up first, and it said disrespectful behavior is if the child is being physically abusive or verbally abusive, such as swearing at the parent, name calling, or trashing the parent in some way behind their back or their face. Like, what is this? When I was growing up, there was my mama was not my friend. It was,
Not your equal, not your peer.
she is my parent.
Absolutely.
Anything that she said went. My daddy was not my friend. Anything he said, it was. That's what it was. That was the authority. They were the authority in my life. And if you didn't do what they said, then there were repercussions.
Absolutely.
Maybe not a whooping, but there was a talking to, we need an understanding.
There was a sense of fear.
Yes. And we need an understanding. I'm the parent, you're the child. There's this line that you don't cross. That's where we go to the honor your mother and honor your father and your mother.
And it's crazy. I read this book, Strengthen Your Grip, and then it said in chapter 15 is about authority. Mm-hmm. And he's speaking about children these days. And this book was written in the 80s. So if it was happening in the 80s, goodness gracious, it's a whole lot worse right now than it was in the 80s. But he was saying that the parents are scared of, in this as far as the school system, mm-hmm. the parents are scared of the principals are scared of the superintendents are scared of the school board is scared of the parents, and the children ain't scared of nobody.
And that's kind of what's happening today in 2023 that has been going. So it's crazy that something that has been written from the 1980s,
the 80s,
applies to today. So if children, you can watch old shows too, like In the Heat of the Night, or something like that, where the children were being disrespectful to their parents, and I'm not gonna do whatever it is. But where? So I'm not saying that children aren't disrespectful, but where are they learning it from? Right? Where is the issue? How do you fix the issue? When do you catch it?
I think it's society. They're even passing laws for children that they don't have to listen to their parents.
That's true in California.
They're allowing children to call the shots. And when you give a child that much autonomy, they're gonna abuse that. So in California, like you were just saying, they're making it to where if a child feels like that they're not, the parents aren't conforming to their beliefs, then they can opt out of being in that household.
And that's crazy because children need parents. Children need adults who care for them, who are going to make sure that their well-being is good.
And then I don't think they understand what's on the other side of that. Foster care is not somewhere that you want to opt into.
Because, I mean, this is for movies, so I don't know if this is, but it's seeing some of the comments, because I'm in a foster care group or whatever, seeing some people who do have had that experience, they're like, that is not good. And then you have, and you weigh your options, because some people are saying, I was in this family who did care, who did provide for me. And then you have others who are like, that was the worst experience of my life. And it's like, so what do you do? How do you handle this situation? Who needs to change? The parent, society? But if we talk about society,
I think it's collective.
Right. We have to change ourselves. And I'm not saying change as in like stop being who you are, but change what you project out of your mouth, how you speak to people. If you're swearing at your parent and you're like, well, why are you talking to me this way? If you're making fun of other people, name calling, you see somebody on the street or going into Walmart because you don't agree with what they have on, how they are dressed, what's happening with their head, what's on their face, and you name call, and your child is picking that up, and they'll see somebody at school, and they're going to start name calling, and then y'all want to say, my child isn't a bully. Well, they might not be a bully, but they've picked something up along the way. So you have to watch what you're projecting on the road, like I said, in stores. All of that matters.
And I'm going to say this. One thing we don't tolerate with our little ones is when adults are talking and having adult conversations, you need to get up out my face.
So that was absolutely one of the rules for us growing up. If we are adults and we are speaking, y'all need to find something.
That's why at the family reunions, you got the children's table.
you have to.
You go sit over there while us adults have our conversations, because when children are implemented into adult conversations, they feel like it's okay to also have those adult conversations. So whatever you saying, they're going to also say at the children's table or around other children. They're going to act the same way. They're going to do the same things. And
that creates gossip.
Absolutely.
We're not supposed to be gossiping, so I get it. We're not supposed to be in grown folks' business, right? We're not supposed to be in grown folks' business. But why you sitting there talking about Shirley Ray with your sister now?
Straight up. Ma'am.
So it's a thing. It's not lineage. I don't want to say lineage isn't the right word, but it's
a trickle down effect. Right. Yeah.
That's what it is. Because you can get and you can sit and you can talk, and then I saw my mom and them do it. So.
And then that progresses, because as they get older, they get more disrespectful. They start committing crimes. That's why we have all of these children out here doing these smash and grabs by the 50s. They're going inside of these doggone establishments, and they're just bombarding the whole establishment and taking everything that they want. So they have been taught to be takers. The parents have taught them how to be a taker. So they're going to go and take people's stuff that don't belong to them. And when you bust them, when you put one in them, then you want to be on TV talking about how Billy or Johnny or JJ or doggone Pee-wee was a good person.
Pee-wee.
All of them. Because last time I just said Johnny and people thought I was just talking about white people. But no, I'm talking about white, black, Chinese, Mexican,
everybody. This is not discriminating, okay?
Not at all.
There are disrespectful children all around.
In every ethnicity.
Everywhere. Y'all black people be like, well, Billy just gonna talk to his mama like that. Well, there's some black children who be
doing the same thing.
Talking reckless.
Absolutely.
Mumbling behind our back.
Doing gestures behind your back.
That is the most disrespectful thing you could do. But once again, are you doing it to somebody?
Absolutely. That's where they learning it from.
Doing it to somebody. Is one of their teachers doing it? And parents, you have the authority to go up to that school and be like, hey, I don't appreciate
Absolutely.
This, and get that in line. Like, there's so many factors.
And another factor is watching what your children are watching, consuming as far as entertainment. Because like we mentioned on another episode about the Real Housewives of Atlanta.
Yeah.
these women are disrespectful. The men are disrespectful. Look, that whatever it is, all the reality shows where they scripting out how to be disrespectful to each other. Those type of shows don't need to be shown to children. All of and I'm even on right now, I'm on the fence about gangster movies and all of that. Because even though we used to watch them, children these days don't know the difference.
What is it portraying? Like, what do you see? And if you see that, it's like, I want to emulate.
And then it's being glorified because a lot of children, they can't differentiate the actor from the actual person.
You talking about children? Some grown people can't.
Exactly.
Let's take Power, for example, with Omari, what's his name? Hardwick's character. People was talking about ghosts, like whatever.
Like he was a real person.
Real person.
He said he even got to deal with people walking up to him and confronting him as if he's really ghost in real life.
You guys, it's a show. So we're not being careful with what we're,
consuming.
What we're consuming as well. And like we think of all these drug shows, Snowfall, Power, Ghost, right? It's Ghost.
Yeah. Straight up.
We're looking at all these shows and saying, and then we'll say, well, that's not how we should look at people are looking at that. Like, that is what
shoulda, woulda, coulda ain't what it is.
So it's building you're in here. And not saying every child is going to be like that, but if you see it, you might think about it like, dang, I watched this movie. Let's try it out. And that most daring child is going to try something out. Let me be respectful. Mm-hmm. And then because they didn't think that anything would happen, they will end up in a situation
because
that
most
you put yourself out of.
Most children don't associate consequences with actions.
And are they being taught consequences?
Exactly.
And that's when I go back to the spare the rod, spoil the child. If there's no repercussion on whatever it is that they've done, like I said, once again, not about whooping, but not saying, hey, we're not doing that.
We're rewarding children for bad behavior.
Parents are not speaking up. It's just like, hey, don't do that again. But are you explaining why isn't something they shouldn't be doing? Like what this can lead up to.
Yeah.
Right? You talking about the smash and grab. If you go steal something, talk to your child about repercussions.
They need to bring scared straight back.
Like, what could this lead to? Because eventually, if you continue to steal, eventually it's going to catch up with you. And eventually you will be somewhere where you do not want to be.
Whether it's jail or in a grave.
All because of maybe your parent did not speak up and say, hey, we're not doing that. That's not what we do.
Straight up. Don't get popped out here trying to come up on other people's goods. That ain't for you. Right. And people will protect their things with their lives, especially if you're running up in people's houses and their establishments. They worked hard for these things, and they're not going to let you come and take it, so they'll take you in the process.
And you had said about like saying that they were good. We aren't good. We're sinners. We are here. We're gonna mess up and we're gonna make mistakes. Okay, that's what it is.
Absolutely.
So stop saying, oh, they were a good child, they were a good person.
It couldn't have been.
Because we're not. We're not good.
Without the guidance of God, Jesus Christ, we are the devil. And we always want to talk about the devil did this, the devil did this. No, you the devil. Because you ain't got God in you. You ain't got Jesus Christ in you. You don't believe in nothing. And you ain't teaching your children to believe in anything. So there's no higher power. When you have a higher power, then you have a certain respect for authority.
Right. And I read this morning in my book, it says if you call yourself a Christian, you're not supposed to live how society lives. And so there are a lot of Christians who are saying, I am a Christian, but I can still go out and twerk. I can still go out and I can listen to this type of music. You know, I confessed last week I was watching clips of Love and Hip Hop. Well, I'm not doing it anymore because I know that is not.
It's a detriment.
It's a detriment because of the behavior.
Absolutely.
I don't want that behavior to,
be impressionable upon me or my children.
So as a Christian, it is my job to be like, nah, brother, sister, don't do that.
Straight up.
Right there, like I've been like, and I've done it. So That's why I said we're not good. We're sinners. We're gonna slide back into things that we're not supposed to do. But your job, if you believe in God and believe in Jesus, is to come back out of that and be able to be like, hey, nah, come, let me take you over here and for you to learn the right way.
And the one thing we have to realize is there's no in between.
No.
You're either good with God or you are bad with everything else. The world, society, all of those things, there's nothing about those things that'll gain you salvation. They're not going to help you improve anything. All of those things they're set in place for a reason to keep you sidetracked. But we need to get back on this other side, the righteous side.
Repent. Like, teach your children to repent. For us, we read the Bible with our children. We talk about the 10 Commandments. We pray together. And it's not no drill. It's not about drilling. It's just about teaching. And
information.
And every moment that you have with your child is a teaching moment. Anybody, any moment that you have with your child is a teaching moment. How can I make this a teachable moment? And for us, it's just, let's talk about it. You remember, like, we can go back, hey, you remember when Ruth did this, or Samuel, or Saul, or Solomon, like, we can place those. And it's not to be like, we have to be like those people, but every person in the Bible, they made mistakes. They weren't living up to what God was telling them to do things, right? Mm-hmm. But they were being disobedient. So that's what we do.
Making excuses.
Our parents are telling us things, and we're children are being blatantly disrespectful, disobedient to what is being told, when all we have to do, and it's so simple to say, right? When all we have to do, but is follow what's being told to us. But it's like, nah, my way is the way. But if you're a Christian or you believe, there's only one way, and it's not our way.
So we need to get on top of it. We need to start pushing that good book, the book of truth, the only book that is still relevant from the time it was written to now and forever will be. You can associate some kind of relevancy to that book that's happening now, because nothing under the sun is brand new. Mm-mm. All of this stuff has happened before.
All of it. Y'all think, like, all of it. Nothing that we see in this world should surprise you. It might surprise us because,
you may not have seen it before.
It's happening. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But it has already happened. Everything that we witnessed, it has happened. It has, except for the part with technology and all that. But how human behavior
is the same.
It's the same. It is.
Ain't nothing changed.
You just different in a different.
We all want to do sin. We all want to lust. We all want to do the things that we want to do.
Absolutely.
When that's not the right way. And if you want your righteousness, if you want your salvation, then you need to find that good book. And with that, we up out this thing.